Coming up on AgweekTV, team coverage from Big Iron in West Fargo, North Dakota.
As I talk to farmers here, some are very concerned about the future of commodity prices.
Land prices and rental rates are drawing so much interest. I take a closer look.
And we'll check out some of the brand new equipment that hasn't even hit the market yet at Big Iron. Hello, welcome to AgweekTV. I'm Shauna Olson. We are here at Big Iron in West Fargo, North Dakota. Big Iron began in 1980 and has been going strong ever since. The three-day event has more than 900 exhibit booths, training sessions, and demonstrations. We bring you team coverage from Big Iron, and it begins with Mikkel Pates as he talked to several growers about the status of the current ag economy.
We're looking at a third year of low commodity prices in the region. But as I talk to people here at Big Iron, how they're doing depends on where they farm.
It can all vary so much. I mean, there can be pockets where it's really good and there's pockets where it can be pretty tough. Even with land, I mean, land can vary within a 1/16 of a mile sometimes, from really good land to more marginal ground.
Mike Kelly farms near Niagara, North Dakota, just outside the northern Red River Valley. So far this season, he's had more than 30 inches of rain and lots of hail damage, so poor crops and low prices are delivering a 1-2 punch.
It's really challenging. It's kind of, you might say, a rerun of the early 80s.
Kelly says they haven't seen farmers selling land off in his area yet, but he says his neighbors are being conservative, cutting back on major purchases.
Guys are trying to be conservative and weather this storm. But this is a tough deal because the prices, have really collapsed. And this is a tough growing year for us in this area.
But on the southern end of the Red River Valley, many growers are having a good year thanks to an early spring and timely rains.
We've been fortunate to escape most of the unusual weather this year. So the rainfall has been maybe a little bit sparse even for us, but it's come just in time.
They're hoping that's enough to make up for low commodity prices.
The optimism isn't there. We're just treading water. Just keep going. Moving forward, keep walking, heads down, work hard. And we're just here for the long run, and we're gonna keep at it every year, and hopefully we can keep the yields up and the prices and the demand, and hopefully things will turn around, and they usually do.
That's kind of a farmer's Achilles heel. He's always optimistic.
Mikkel Pates also caught up with several international guests at Big Iron, and he has more on that story.
More than 120 visitors from 10 countries came to Big Iron this year through the International Visitors Program. The event is sponsored by the North Dakota Trade Office. This year's group is heavily represented by sub-Saharan countries. That's different from years past, which have been heavily represented by visitors from the former Soviet Union countries.
I think part of it is just economics. If you look at GDP growth across the continent of Africa over the last couple of years, it's been quite strong. And you look at some of our more traditional markets, which is former Soviet Union, they've had a little bit tougher economic times. So I think in order to have a successful sale, you need a willing buyer that has the capital to do so. And it appears that we're finding that in Africa.
Angola had the biggest group at Big Iron this year with 56 people. The country is focusing on ag development in the wake of declining prices for their oil exports.
Irrigation, tractors, everything. The Angola the agriculture sector is new, very new. Everything is needed. Everything that we've seen here, we wish we'd be able to partner with some of the company here to bring those tech in Angola.
The reason the U.S. government opened a commercial office in Angola is because it's a very large economy. It's the third largest GDP in sub-Saharan Africa. Now, a lot of that, as was indicated, is driven by the oil industry, but it is a 25 million person population. It's a market that a lot of U.S. companies haven't thought about too much.
After some initial introductions, it looks like some North Dakota companies will be traveling to Angola in the not-too-distant future. Shauna?
Our team coverage continues as Jonathan Knutson sat in on a land value seminar.
All of us in ag know that land values are falling. The question is, how far and how fast? The speakers at this land value seminar gave their insights.
There's pressure on land values, and that's to be expected, I guess, when you look at the crop prices and farm net income being down and so forth. That's a large determinant of what farmers have to buy land with, and investors and so forth. So, I mean, in short, it's under pressure. I guess how much pressure is more than ever, I think, dependent upon the quality of the land.
Farmers are still the primary buyers in the market, but we are seeing more investor interest.
I don't foresee the bottom dropping out. Corn and beans stay where they're at. We're going to continue to see a gradual decline. I mean, working capital gets eroded. The number of buyers gets fewer and fewer. So, but there's no signs yet that until we start seeing more forced sales and forced sales at any cost. You know, like, you know, for example, this property is gonna sell. I don't foresee it dropping, the bottom dropping out. It's gonna be a gradual thing. I mean, the best that any of us can tell right now.
The drop so far is concerning but not alarming. Farm profitability, or the lack of it, will have the final say on what happens next. Shauna?
Coming up next on AgweekTV, we'll hear from one of the most popular meteorologists in the world.
My name is Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called a corn stalk guide. Helps guide corn stalks into the grabs and the chains a lot smoother without losing corn. The corn stalk, when it comes off of our product, it's already on the gathering chain instead of being able to hit that idler. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
The American farmer. You nurture the land, the livestock, and the future of agriculture. Nationwide and your local On Your Side Farm certified agent stand with you to help protect your farm and ranch operations. We're in this together.
I've been working with farmers and ranchers for over 30 years, and I understand the demands and risks they face. It's important for me to build a personal relationship with each and every customer. It's what I do. I'm Ray Trudeau, an elite farm certified agent, and I'm on your side.
Make the ultimate upgrade this harvest with Goodyear LSW tires. LSW improves your footprint by up to 37% and gives you the ability to carry larger loads at lower inflation pressures, reducing soil compaction for a better yield next season. LSW tires are proven to reduce road load, making sure you can run at full speed from field to field, expediting your harvest. Visit your local Graham Tire to make the switch. When you reap the benefits of LSW tires, you'll know you're in Graham country.
Every day across America, excess food is gathered by a network of good people at local food banks, giving hope to millions of children who struggle with hunger. They've earned their wings, and you can too. Together, we can solve child hunger. Support Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
Of course, the long-term weather forecast is always on the forefront of farmers' minds here in our own backyard and across the world. And who better to talk about that than Drew Lerner with World Weather. You are the owner and senior agricultural meteorologist of World Weather. And of course, weather, that's all you do is talk about weather, isn't it?
That's right. Anywhere in the world we cover it. Any major agricultural area we cover. So.
And the markets watch what you're talking about as well, don't they?
Well, I hope so. I've been doing it for a long time. It's like my 37th year, and we support the commodity trade on our daily basis, as well as all the producers around. Anybody that's in the food chain somewhere, whether it's putting a seed in the ground or whether it's the processing of the harvested crop for making cereal or whatever. We're all the way through the chain helping out everybody we can.
Okay, and everyone's always watching South America and the weather down there, and their soybeans affect how things happen up here. What are you seeing? How's the weather down there?
Well, the situation down there's a lot of chatter right now because we were supposed to have La Nina around this year, and La Nina tends to make it dry across parts of Argentina and Brazil during the spring planting season. So if La Nina were to come around, the market was all ready to send prices higher because of a shortage on production. But the problem is La Nina never came around. There's still some potential there, but it's probably not going to happen. And as long as that's the case, we'll probably have a fairly good start to the growing season. So for right now, we're not ready to go in the fields. I suppose they're planting a few cornfields in Brazil, but for the most part, the main planting season is still a few weeks down the road.
Any other hot pockets around the world that are seeing good or bad weather?
Well, there's actually quite a few. Australia's eastern part of Australia is very wet right now. This is the reproductive season for some of their wheat, barley, and canola. They're going into that. And the eastern part of the country is getting a lot of rain, just way too much rain. And it's raising the wet weather disease potential. And it's also slowing down the spring planting. So they plant cotton and rice and corn and soybeans as everybody else does, and so the process is not looking very good. There's also a bunch of rain falling right now in the spring wheat and sunseed areas of the former Soviet Union, and that's causing some issues with grain quality there. China's just had a rotten year. They've had everything go wrong. They had some of the worst flooding in history. They had a drought that's ongoing now, and there's a typhoon that's going to be moving into southern parts of the country right away. So it doesn't look too good for China production this year.
Wow, what an exciting job you have.
I love it. It's been good for me, and it is interesting to follow what's going on in the rest of the world, and it helps the marketplace to be aware of what's going on.
Absolutely. Drew Lerner with World Weather, thanks for joining us here today.
Thank you very much.
Up next on AgWeek TV, we'll hear your local weather forecast. Is the rain going to stay away for harvest, and how low will these temperatures go? And later, we'll check out some of the brand new equipment at field demonstrations at Big Iron.
My name's Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called a cornstalk guide. Helps guide corn stalks into the grabs in the chains a lot smoother without losing corn. The corn stalk, when it comes off of our product, it's already on the gathering chain instead of being able to hit that idler. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
Commitment. You need it to succeed on the farm. It's total dedication to the land, family, and community. It's more than a way to make a living. It's a way of life. You've had it since the first time you ran your hands through the soil, helped bale hay, or rode along in the combine. Your commitment, it's as strong as your family's trust, as honest as each long day you put in, and as pure as the opportunity that comes with every tomorrow. It's how we build our bins, with proven design, superior structural integrity, a lifetime warranty, and a promise to stand with you. No matter what storms come your way, the harvest will always be protected, so you can sell when it's right for you, your family, and your farm. Commitment. It's why we can say, there's nothing standard about superior.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted, AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
You make me wear my bike helmet. Taught me never to run with scissors. And to follow the swimming rules. You tell me to stay away from drugs. To always buckle my seatbelt.
So why do you keep a loaded gun in your drawer?
How safe is that?
You asked them to follow some safety rules. Now they're asking you. In fact, they're counting on you. Never let your gun get into the wrong hands. Remember, always lock it up. Visit ncpc.org.
AgWeek TV weather is brought to you by Kaler Farms.
Taking a look at the weather portion of Ag Week now, a couple of things ongoing. One is that it looks like warmer weather will again be returning to the plains and Midwest. Not talking high heat, not talking a lot of 100-degree weather, but warmer definitely in late September. Also, a return to rainier weather for the northern plains and parts of the upper Midwest appears likely, and a first significant snowfall. I mean significant snowfall, but just out in the mountains, mostly out in Montana, Wyoming. Here's what's going on. Jet stream pattern this week showing warmer weather returning as the primary jet carves out a pretty deep trough along the west coast. That's going to pull pretty cold air into the northern Rockies and allow warm air to come northward. As I said, most of this 70s and 80s in the upper Midwest Corn Belt areas, 80s and 90s down south. Not a lot of 100-degree weather, but it'll be above average. And this will be cold enough for snow in the higher elevations, some 40-degree type weather getting out into Montana. But I do expect some significant snow out in western and central parts of Montana. The contrast between the cold and the warm and the fast jet stream in between suggests a pretty good possibility for a few rain systems moving maybe a little further north, this time up into some parts of the northern plains. Hopefully they won't be too heavy, but I do see some subtropical moisture and then a weather pattern setting up to bring some rain across the north. The tropical activity will likely keep the southern areas quite wet over the next week. The northern plains rain, I don't expect this to be incredibly wet overall, but there may be a few spots to get a couple of inches of rain. A lot of this is just wetter than we'd want. Snow will mostly be confined to the mountains. The thing about the rain this time of the year is it doesn't have to be 5 inches of rain to cause problems because evaporation rates go way down when we get near the equinox. And so the deal is it rains a little bit less, but it evaporates a little bit less too, so it takes less rain to make things wet. That's a concern this coming week. Moving into next week, now we're talking the last week of October. I think the west will begin to dry out. Primarily dry weather in the western United States. The heavy rain area, northern plains will shift into the Great Lakes, I believe, and the rainy weather in the deep south will mostly go to the eastern seaboard. In the middle, I think it could go either way, either be mostly dry, mostly wet, or about average. I don't really see anything to focus anything there. This is an interesting addition to the winter pattern as well, the fall and winter. Been talking about El Nino turning into La Nina. This is warmer than average sea surface temperatures in red, cooler than average in blue. Well, I'll play the movie again. The El Nino was ongoing all through the summertime, but as we head into the fall, it was turning blue, indicating the presence of La Nina. Look at the last frame, though. It's weakening. It looks like the winter may be neutral, not a La Nina, which means for temperatures, not a good indicator. For snowfall this winter, not a good indicator. Without El Nino or La Nina, hard to forecast.
The American farmer. You nurture the land, the livestock, and the future of agriculture. Nationwide and your local On Your Side Farm certified agent stand with you to help protect your farm and ranch operations. We're in this together.
I've been working with farmers and ranchers for over 30 years, and I understand the demands and risks they face. It's important for me to build a personal relationship with each and every customer. It's what I do. I'm Ray Trudeau, an elite farm certified agent, and I'm on your side.
Make the ultimate upgrade this harvest with Goodyear LSW tires. LSW improves your footprint by up to 37% and gives you the ability to carry larger loads at lower inflation pressures, reducing soil compaction for a better yield next season. LSW tires are proven to reduce road load, making sure you can run at full speed from field to field, expediting your harvest. Visit your local Graham Tire to make the switch. When you reap the benefits of LSW tires, you'll know you're in Graham country.
My name is Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called the Corn Stalk Guide. Helps guide corn stalks into the grabs in the chains a lot smoother without losing corn. The corn stalk, when it comes off of our product, it's already on the gathering chain instead of being able to hit that idler. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? Agweek Magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. Agweek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted, Ag Week. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
The field demonstrations are always a popular event at Big Iron. We got a chance to check out the interseeder and a very special sprayer. John Deere brought out the R4045 sprayer. It stands for 4,500 liters of water, which is 1,200 gallons. It's set up here for in-season and late-season nutrient application.
So on this sprayer, you can see we have the Y-drop system, 360 yield center. John Deere recently started an allied agreement with 360 Yield Center, giving John Deere dealerships the ability to offer 360 Yield Center Y-drops through the John Deere channel.
They're showcasing two of the steering solutions that John Deere recently came out with, the AutoTrack Row Sense, which is similar to what some corn heads use on a combine.
It actually uses feelers right alongside the tire, and it gives you the ability to feel those corn rows and steer off of the actual corn stalk versus off of GPS.
The other solution on this sprayer is called AutoTrack Vision,
which is actually used for early crop stages, which is using a camera to view the two crop rows and then steer you in between them.
Tony peruses the sprayer through a maze staying between the yellow tape lines that simulate crop rows.
The yellow tape lines actually had a slight curve to them, and I was not steering at all. It just kind of followed along with those curves and went where it needed to go.
Another item on demo, a newly designed side-dressed fertilizing machine that plants cover crop seed into row crops. This is a prototype. It's part of a project by a grant from the federal government. Eugene Brecker helped get the machine together.
And it's the first one we made to do this work where we go in a row and be able to plant in corn that's knee-high to waist-high.
Brecker says it's capable of several other jobs.
It can also side dress nitrogen at the same time they're planting, and we can hook it up 15 inches off center and go back on row and do strip till with it and plant soybeans with it. And so it can go on virtually any acre, every acre of a farm and do different things with it.
Brecker says if all goes as planned, it could be on the market in a few years. If so, it will be an Amity brand. Time now to hear from NDSU livestock specialist Gerald Stucca as he weighs in as you get ready to wean your calves.
So this is the time of the year when we start thinking about health issues and health issues in our calves, because we're getting close to the time of the year when we're going to think about weaning calves. So we start thinking about health issues related to that weaning time period. One of the distinctions I'd like to make when we talk about health is the issue of health insurance versus health assurance. The decisions we make in our cow herds regarding the health of calves really begins a long time before those calves are weaned. And that's what I call health assurance. How we manage our herds regarding the genetic selection. In other words, do we select for healthy calves, or do we select strictly for performance indicators? The nutrition those cows are on, the environment that those calves are born in and raised in, makes a huge difference on whether those calves will stay healthy or not. And so before we start talking about health insurance, which really was related to the topic of vaccines, you need to think about health assurance and your management regarding that in your own herd. Regarding weaning now is really more of the health insurance. In that regards, that's talking about vaccines. The vaccines we have today are very effective. So go to your veterinarian, ask for that health vaccine protocol, that health insurance protocol, and he'll be able to provide you with one. The point I want to make, though, is that unless you've got a strong health assurance program, the health insurance part or the vaccines will not be as effective.
Coming up next on AgweekTV, an old piece of equipment also comes out at Big Iron. We'll show you what it is.
My name is Joel Kaler, owner-operator of Kaler Farms in Lidgerwood, North Dakota. We make a patented product called the Corn Stalk Guide. Helps guide corn stalks into the grabs and the chains a lot smoother without losing corn. The corn stalk, when it comes off of our product, it's already on the gathering chain instead of being able to hit that idler. Our product will keep all the wear off the snout and get it to come into the head smoother without bouncing.
Commitment. You need it to succeed on the farm. It's total dedication to the land, family, and community. It's more than a way to make a living. It's a way of life. You've had it since the first time you ran your hands through the soil, helped bale hay, or rode along in the combine. Your commitment. It's as strong as your family's trust, as honest as each long day you put in, and as pure as the opportunity that comes with every tomorrow. It's how we build our bins, with proven design, superior structural integrity, a lifetime warranty, and a promise to stand with you, no matter what storms come your way. The harvest will always be protected, so you can sell when it's right for you, your family, and your farm. Commitment. It's why we can say, there's nothing standard about superior.
Where do you go for the latest news in agriculture? AgWeek Magazine. Reaching over 30,000 farmers and ranchers in North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, and Montana. AgWeek provides the most up-to-date information on the markets, the trends, and the people who make it all happen. We're your source for news, not fluff. Dependable, trusted. AgWeek. Subscribe today by calling 1-800-811-2580.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. This is unacceptable, and something Feeding America is working to solve. Through a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America serves virtually every community in the United States, including yours. See how you can help your community. Visit feedingamerica.org. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
One of the highlights here at the Big Iron Show is the Versatile 1080. It was built in 1977, and Versatile is celebrating 50 years. It's a 4-axle horsepower tractor with a diesel engine that generates 600 horsepower. It's being paraded around shows across the country this year, and it's drawing attention from people from hundreds of miles away.
We were running 850 Versatiles when I was a young kid, and I remember this coming out, and I guess that was something I've been thinking about for over 40 years already, so almost so. It's kind of nice to get to see it actually.
It is a very unique machine, and so there's been a lot of, again, interest. Most of the people have heard about Big Roy, and so to come out and to see it in person has been a very special thing for all of them.
This week's photo of the week comes from Larry Haas of Lidgerwood, North Dakota. He's come up with an inventive way to keep his apples from bruising with some electrical fence posts and bird netting. Pretty clever. If you want to see your ag photos on AgweekTV, email your photo and a description of what's happening in the picture to photos@agweek.com. Thanks for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of AgweekTV from Big Iron. Remember, for all your ag news, go to agweek.com. We'll see you next week.